Okay, welcome to Tech Culture. I'm already feeling upbeat, and I know that's what we're going to talk about. But this is a sub-series of the 10 podcasts brought to you by the Nebraska Tech Collaborative, powered by Exarban. I'm Shonna Dorsey with BNTC, and I'm here with my special guest co-hosts.
I'm Amy Johnson with 2211.
And I'm Blake Hogeveen with Better Culture. And we work with 2211. I'm grateful to have them as part of our team.
Awesome. And three of us have known each other in circles over the years. Blake and I worked together for a little bit. I've known Amy Johnson and have been a fan for years and years. So
Likewise.
Glad you're here. 20 tenets of culture. Today's topic is the sixth tenet, which is...
Yep. Tenet number 6 is Upbeat. And what we do with Better Culture is we work with organizations that care about workplace culture.
Yeah.
Most of the organizations we work with, they already have a good culture before we work with them. It's because they care about it. They just want to look for ways to improve it. And we don't know another product like this 20 tenets of culture product that focuses on 20 attitudes and behaviors that help individuals be more successful, teams be higher performing, and help companies build culture from the front line.
Yep.
Giving an assessment and then coaching to frontline employees. And again, the topic for today is Upbeat. And I don't know about you two, but when I've worked at companies, one of the things I really appreciated about teams is when my colleagues are positive, optimistic, energetic, upbeat. And man, do I want to get off a team when people show up to work and they're pessimistic, they're negative, they're not upbeat.
Right. Okay. So obviously important to have a positive attitude at work. We know that that's not possible all of the time, but maybe talk to us a bit about why this is important and then how you maintain it or regain it, I guess, when,
Things
projects
are
are hard. Exactly.
Yeah. I can talk about that a little bit. So, there's in building a startup company, it's not always butterflies and rainbows. And I have a couple specific times that I remember being very down in terms of how are we going to do this? In 2018, 2019, I thought maybe this should just not be a thing, and that's really hard to figure out how to be upbeat. But I think the things that we did as a team, a couple of things. It was always letting people know where you're at with transparency and vulnerability, but in a way that also had hope. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, and being self-aware about that. So if I knew I couldn't go into a team meeting and be the cheerleader, I had to find somebody else that could. And I think just being able to surround yourself with people that can help you through those times is really, really important to just maintain a culture of positivity. And I think the transparency part, we never felt the need to tell people or tell our company okay, we're strapped on cash. Nobody needs to hear that.
Right.
That's not the employee's job. The job is here's where we're at in sales. Here's where we need you to focus. That is a much more productive way than wearing everything on your sleeve. Some things are just not helpful for everybody to know. It's why would I worry them with that, Yep. And so I think there's a lot of different tactics that you have to really work through and sometimes it's multiple in a day. It's oh, you got a great sell, but oh my gosh, we're really struggling. And so using your team, being vulnerable and being very transparent were my key things that I had to do to stay upbeat.
That's so interesting. And I love the transparency point. Is that one of the tenets?
Transparency?
Yeah.
Not specifically, but it would relate to a few others, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. There's always some overlap. And I've definitely been guilty of being overly transparent. So
same.
No way,
I'm
Sean.
okay.
I would never
I have that
dial it
problem.
back. You don't need to share.
But it's okay. I would always say and that was kind of why my team trusted me is because they knew I didn't have the ability to not be transparent.
Right.
Where it was hard is when you're not upbeat. Right. And
That's
so
true.
understanding okay, how do I be upbeat when I'm really down? And that is from your team.
Yep.
And I think hiring the right people, the other culture drivers of your company to be upbeat when maybe you need a minute is
Mhm.
very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just from a practical standpoint, a lot of people want to be successful and happy in life.
Mhm.
And psychologists have known for hundreds of years, if you will be more positive, upbeat, optimistic, you'll have a lot greater chance of achieving results in life
Yes.
that help you be successful and happy.
Okay. So let's talk about backing into how to become upbeat if you're not already an upbeat person. One of the things that I try to do is to just think about what I'm grateful for. And there are many things, like even just sitting here breathing, talking, the whole
Yeah.
thing. There's so many
Yeah.
things to be grateful for. But what are some thoughts you have there for like how someone can
Yeah.
become more upbeat?
Two things. One is just practical and it's old school, but suck it up.
Mhm.
Just the you're having an off day. Yeah, you know it's important. Suck it up and be a little bit more positive. On the second one, maybe a little bit more
Sounds
thoughtful.
like your
Shonna
dad.
is yes, it's old school. It's Kim Hogeveen.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
that is
Totally.
what
Yes,
he
I love
he
it.
got it from his father. So my grandfather
That's
would
fair.
tell you that for sure. The other one, a little bit more thoughtful, maybe profound, and it relates to what you said. Is if you're feeling down, one of the ways that you can feel up is do something kind for somebody else.
Mhm.
If
True.
you will do something kind, not only can you impact somebody else, help them feel better, you will feel better about yourself by helping somebody.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that can help you get out of a rut, be a little bit more positive, upbeat, optimistic for the future.
Absolutely. I think too with the team vibe, usually it's like one person is feeling that way, then usually others are. You know, it's very much like if things aren't going well, if sales are down, if something happened, it's like as a leader, your job is to maybe mix it up a little bit.
Mhm.
I think I was very key moments where I felt the vibe was off. And there's a lot of reasons that could have been. And you just got to mix it up and do something totally different,
Yeah.
like not related to the actual problem. I think a couple examples was we would always do lightning talks. So it's like every week somebody could come in and talk about whatever they wanted.
Love that.
And so making sure that week was funny
Mhm.
or off the wall.
Yeah.
My favorite was a guy came in and talked about, one of our employees, about how to pick a lock. And it was like fascinating, but it takes which is really easy.
Do you have that skill today, Amy?
I don't.
Ah.
I feel like
It's a good side hustle, especially on the
It
weekends.
was so great, but it got everybody's mind off of like whatever was so exhausting,
Mhm.
and sometimes you just need a minute.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really important to stay upbeat. If you can feel that something's draining a group of people, then you need to figure out how to re-energize them. And it can require a lot of work and, might feel ingenuine sometimes internally because you're like, we need to get this right. But in
Right.
order to get this right, we need everybody to be better.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that, tons of those things.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
What else do you want to cover?
one other thought that I have is, unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
some people are just negative and pessimistic. And one of the ways that you can be more positive and upbeat is join a clump of people
Mhm.
that tend to be positive and upbeat. It'll affect your mood. It'll affect your ability to be positive and upbeat. So I don't say this lightly, but in terms of creating a positive, upbeat culture, if you have somebody on the team that just can't or won't show up to work, have a little bit more positivity, a little bit more upbeat nature,
Mhm.
one of the best ways to improve the team might be to help that person find a company that doesn't value culture as much as you do.
Mm.
Because if you want that for your team, you need the people to show up consistently
Mhm.
and have an attitude that helps influence other people and create an environment that people want to be around.
That is fair.
Mm-hmm. Not always easy, but 100% fair.
Mhm.
Because if it's sucking the energy out of you, it's probably sucking the energy out of everybody.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And coach the person. Give them a chance, but help them show the value. And then
Mhm.
Yeah.
if it's just not for them,
Yeah,
your
and
company
that's
might be not the right fit.
that's right. And ultimately that person might decide themselves that, okay, this is not fit. This is not fit where I
Mm-hmm.
want to be. So
Yep.
Absolutely.
makes sense. Well, another great topic. Look forward to the next one. Thank you both.
Thanks, Shonna.
Thanks, Shonna.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Amy.
Thanks.